Hello. Welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday night live on the GSMC Sports Network, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you guys, Superman, punch that like and subscribe button so you guys can get notifications when I go live. Also upload some awesome professional wrestling content. Hope you guys are having an amazing week. Hope you guys are gearing up for a fun, safe, fun-loving weekend with you and your family. You deserve it, you hard worker, you. If you're a professional wrestling fan like I am, all of us, blue-collar workers out there. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not trying to, no dichotomous nature here. White-collar, blue-collar, doesn't matter. Wrestling fans are family. Absolutely, it's, we are one awesome sports fandom. And yes, wrestling is a sport. People, I'm just kidding. No, well, yeah, it is. But not passing judgments or anything like that. Professional wrestling has been part of my life for like ever. And once when you see a professional wrestling fan walking down the street or somebody wearing a wrestling shirt, I often kind of talk about this on the podcast. Is one time, I'll keep it brief, but I have a story. One time I went to Disneyland, obviously with me and the family and the kids and stuff like that. And, there was this line. It was about an hour and a half wait, and I was like, damn, like, how am I going to survive this? My kids, they have their little, tablets where they play like ABC Mouse or like Tokabook or something like that. So like, and then I'm talking to my wife, and my wife's talking to my mother-in-law, and then they're talking, and I'm just kind of there, like, looking around, like, and I'm not a huge guy that scrolls on like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or Twitter or anything like that. I'm not really that type of guy. Like, I get bored super easily, So then I see this guy with like a Seth freaking Rollins shirt, and then he's like right here, like arm's length away, and I was like, hey man, how's it going? And then automatically, there was a chemistry established, and we were just talking, wrestling stuff, or, we were just, kicking the stuff, shooting the crap. And, we were talking professional wrestling for about an hour, and it was, it was actually too short of a time. No, but it was actually super cool, once again, kind of explaining why wrestling fans are, we're absolutely 1,010% unique. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. We have a great show for you today, all lined up. Today, we are actually going to talk about AEW Dynamite. Gonna give you my review. Then we're gonna talk AEW Revolution happening on Sunday. At the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, California, the City of Angels. We're going to find out how, I love Tony Khan's AEW PLEs, so there's no doubt in my mind this one's going to be absolutely amazing. And it's streaming on Prime Video for the first time ever. So, I don't know if there's going to be a deal or anything like that. Like, when I saw not the commercial, but I saw the promo that they were going to be streaming on Prime Video, I had my subscription, and I was like, yes, like, that's cool. I don't have to, like, pay an extra $50. But, yeah, you're going to have to, I think. You're going to have to anyways. But it's worth it. At the end of the day, it's worth it. It's going toward a good cause. I love professional wrestling. I want to personally see Mercedes Mone lose her TBS championship. I'm just kidding, no. Yeah, no, it should be a good one. We're going to talk about AEW Revolution on our second segment. Third segment, we're going to talk about the WWE Women's Midcard titles might be in trouble. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Becky Lynch's WrestleMania return. We're also I'm going to give you guys my top 10 greatest female wrestlers of all time. Recently, I looked at I came across a Sports Illustrated top 5 or top 10 women of all time. For the most part, the women that were involved in it, it was good, but just I feel like the way they had them, I disagreed upon. So I'm going to go through my top 10, obviously, in terms of talking list. Like Sports Illustrated, it's, there comes a little bit of a bias. There comes a little bit of a, maybe the person wrote it, grew up during the Divas era, grew up during the Attitude Era, and you always kind of had that special bond, that special connection with, with the WWE Women's Wrestling. And you're like, man, if she wasn't there, the whole company would have went under. So, I'm going to give you guys my top 10 women of all time in terms of the world of of professional wrestling. So let's go ahead and dig on into it. But before we get on into any of that, just want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that tips and donations link. Also hit up that super chat. Remember, during live shows, you have the power to chat. You have the power to change the complexion of the show by just hitting up that super chat, by just commenting, whether if you have a burning question or hot take in terms of the world of professional wrestling here at the GSMC Sports Network. We are all ears 1,010%. We want to make sure you guys are keeping up with the show, keeping the conversation lively, making sure you guys feel like you are part of the mix 1,010%. So don't be shy to drop your thoughts inside that chat. Or whenever we publish a video, make sure you guys like, subscribe, share it to your favorite wrestling friend. Also, make sure you guys leave a comment. Leave a comment. Tell me if you like it. Tell me if you don't like it. Just remember at the GSMC Sports Network, we do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity. So keep it absolutely 1,010% respectful. But we get it. Sports, there's going to be disagreements. There's going to be some criticisms, and it's all good. It's all gravy. It's all water under the bridge already, so don't be shy to drop your thoughts inside that chat. We are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who check out our shows daily on the network, so you guys make all the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's get this party started. Make sure you guys, tune into the live streams. Make sure you guys, like and subscribe to the show so you guys could definitely participate in the super chats. Also, hit up that tips and donations link to, talk professional wrestling. In this case, we also have a lot of all-around sports shows like hockey, baseball, football, basketball, all that jazz. We talk all things sports on this network, so make sure you guys, like and subscribe. All right, without further ado, we're going to talk about AEW Dynamite. Live in Sacramento, California. Obviously, they are around the Sacramento, California, and then the Los Angeles area. Well, not the Los Angeles area because Sacramento and Los Angeles, I believe. Like 10 hours away. I believe. You just kind of shoot down the 5. Is it the 5 or is it the 101? I think it's the 5. Or you go down the 98. Heading toward Fresno. I'm not too sure. But, all in all, they're on their way over to Los Angeles. Right now, they are on their way to my backyard. There's actually a show in Oceanside that, that's going to happen. That I wanted to go to so bad. That I want to. But, unfortunately, I have to work on Wednesdays. And it just, oh, God. Of course, I can't watch Dynamite. But I can't watch Dynamite live, but I can always watch it, on TV. So, which is all cool. It's something I've kind of figured out about myself. I'm like, once when you're kind of young, you're into like going to concerts and, sports events and stuff like that. For me, watching it on TV in the comfort of my own chair, with a nice ice cold, root beer, it's always fun. It's always great. It's always, and then you have the kids right there. You have the wife. And, you're just kind of in your own domain. Maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe I'm just getting old and cranky at 32 years old. Who knows? So, MJF starts off the night basically talking about how he disagrees about people's notion of how Hangman Adam Page, he didn't do anything wrong. And that, MJF, he speaks facts. You had that match between Christopher Daniels and Hangman. And, Hangman burning Swerve Strickland's house. And then, beating up legends backstage, causing a ruckus all over the place. Like, he literally kind of threw a tantrum. So MJF, he kind of, it's kind of right. It is kind of right the way he, the way he ultimately kind of phrased it. And then of course, you had, he was basically talking about, he was outside, and then he was in Sacramento, and he had a bullet with his name on it, which is cool. I like it, but it is what it is. MJF screams at Hangman Adam Page over and over. So yeah, he basically wants to get crazy with Hangman. It's going to be a great feud. It's going to be an absolutely great feud, 1,010%. I, for one, can't wait to see these two guys go at it. The top products of AEW ever since they started back in 2019. So, you're basically going to get the foundation. You're going to get a lot of what eat, sleep, and breathe AEW with this feud, and I hope it lasts till AEW All In. But that is a huge ask. That is like 3? No, not 3 months. Like 4 months away. July. So But it could if anybody could do it, these guys can definitely do it. I would love to see like a cage match between these guys at the end of the day, because quite frankly, I don't really see these guys going after the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, which would probably be a next step for both of them. But I don't really see that happen. Tony Schiavone in the stage. Obviously, you had this confrontation. I think it was a contract signing between Swerve Strickland and Ricochet, basically fighting for Prince Nana and that robe. But something that bothered me, being honest, I wasn't a huge fan of the way Ricochet looked. I get the snooty, the cocky, the arrogant, the bratty, backwards hat, Philadelphia Eagles hat, by the way. But I don't know, just the way Ricochet was, and then the freaking Swerve once again. He grabs the pen and he's like, "Oh my God, will you just shut up? You're so annoying." Like, for me, I felt that was kind of like I kind of outed Ricochet there, and it was exactly what it was supposed to be. A contract signing that was supposed to blow up. Ricochet, pulls out the golden scissors. Swerve Strickland grabs his own pair of shears, and sticks it in the forehead of Ricochet. So, all in all, like I said, it was exactly what it was meant to be. We're going to get this match, and it's going to be absolutely it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. And the winner of this match is the number one contender for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So yeah, it's destined to be a good one. Next, we have Will Ospreay teaming up with Orange Cassidy, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Mark Briscoe taking on Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Mark Davis, and the Bad Apple, Brian Keith. I definitely liked how there was some F Don Callis chants all around Sacramento. I thought that was pretty cool. The match was great. All in all, the match was super great. I loved the fact how, although Ospreay, and his team did pick up the victory, I loved how the Don Callis family gets the last laugh. You kind of had Mark Davis have a little bit of a, controversy, conflict of character, how, the world powers or whatever like that, when he was in a stable with Will Ospreay, he was refusing to hit him with that chair. But, I got to be honest, I do love Orange Cassidy's, whole persona. Like that elbow drop, how he dropped it on him, he was like that. That was pretty cool. Definitely hope to see him in the AEW International Championship or the Continental Championship conversation within the next couple of months. So, should be pretty cool. I definitely loved how, like I said, Mark Davis seeming like he's going to, he might get a second win, he might redeem himself. But right now, Don Callis is doing exactly what he needs to do. Lance Archer is, Brian Cage. They're the bad guys. Konosuke Takeshita defending his AEW International Championship at Revolution against Kenny Omega. So you had to build up as much momentum as you possibly could. But it was a great match. I love how AEW explores with these 8-man tag matches. Even on Ring of Honor, you have the 8-man. Sometimes you have a 10-man tag team match. I think last week they had a 12-man tag team match, which was pretty badass. But Kyle Fletcher, like I said, getting the last laugh from the Don Callis family as well with the steel cage match coming up against Will Ospreay, the aerial assassin, at Revolution in Los Angeles. So can't wait to see that go on. All right, next we have Cope taking on Wheeler Yuta. I thought this was it was a good match. It was a great match. I, for one, I definitely liked after the match when Cope hit that, hit the spear, and then he looked Wheeler Yuta dead in the eye and he gave him a handshake, saying that this is what respect looks like, and then gave Wheeler a lot of things to think about. Something that I highly contemplate every single time I see the Death Riders. It's Claudio, Pac, and Shafir already are really invested in to what Jon Moxley basically does, what he hopes to accomplish with everything that he's doing every single day in and day out, Rampage, Collision, or Dynamite. But Yuta, he seems a little skeptical about it. Seems like he is always the whipping boy. I remember once when I think it was Orange Cassidy, I think it was, who came in and saved Wheeler Yuta from them shoving the chemicals down his throat. Was that the chemicals or was it the? No, I think it was. And Wheeler, he hasn't gotten a lot of respect. He turned his back on Bryan Danielson. That's kind of how he got into the group. But ever since then, It's been, hasn't been good for Wheeler. Wheeler Yuta. But then again, Jon Moxley backstage screams. He's yelling. He's boasting. He's basically congratulating Adam Copeland for, he got exactly what he wanted right now. And you have Jon Moxley all alone. It's going to be mano y mano. But, there's always that skepticism that maybe him and Wheeler Yuta were kind of having like a little, acting show or whatever it is. Moxley has held the AEW World Heavyweight Championship for quite some time. So, I don't know if a title change is due, but I feel like Wheeler Yuta will ultimately be the remaining factor. And I feel like it will get to a point between, and I'll get into this with my AEW Revolution picks and predictions. I feel like there's going to be a spot where he can either help Cope or he could help Jon Moxley, and I feel like ultimately he's going to help Jon Moxley, because I don't really see Jon Moxley losing the championship as of right now. This Death Rider, this Death Rider storyline has been pretty damn good, so I don't know. It should be pretty interesting. Interesting. Next, we have a TV segment. Renee Paquette talking to MJF. Hangman Adam Page wants to run him over, and basically that is that. But then they make it out to the ring. They start beating the holy hell out of each other. AEW security comes out. They take down Hangman. They take down MJF. MJF comes with the dynamite ring, punches Hangman Adam Page square in the middle of the forehead, knocks him out. And then, MJF starts pouring lighter fluid, saying that, he's going to light him on fire like he lit Swerve Strickland's house on fire. And then I love the fact that MJF was wearing MJF did nothing wrong shirt. I thought that was pretty funny. Kind of reminded me of when Kevin Owens wore, what did he wear? What was his shirt? Kevin Owens is right? or something like that? I think, yeah, Kevin was right or something like that. Once when he was having his little thing with the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. So I thought that was actually kind of funny. MJF was, he was pulled, kicking and screaming out of the arena, and it was just kind of funny. I like how he was basically saying how everyone is a hypocrite and he has a point to prove. Let me prove my point. It was so MJF. It was absolutely so MJF, 1,010%. So yeah, it was pretty cool. All right, next we have Kris Statlander and Thunder Rosa taking on Magan Bayne and Penelope Ford. Once again, I think this was the only women's match on there. I was shocked, but then again, I was kind of relieved. It was a nice 10-minute match between the, 4 top-tier talents within AEW. Obviously, Kris and, Thunder Rosa kind of like in the middle of it, they're at their prime, kind of dipping down a little bit. But you have Magan Bayne and Penelope Ford as well. But there's been some rumors surrounding Penelope Ford saying that she won't be with the company at the end of 2025. Either they're she's digging for a new contract, or that she wants to go somewhere else where maybe the women's division is a little bit more premier prominent. I feel like it is a lot when maybe on Collision. I feel like it is. But Dynamite, it does do its due diligence in terms of Mercedes Mone promo here. You have Harley Cameron, and then backstage with Renee Paquette talking to Tony Storm, Mariah May. So the women's division is it's not that it's absolutely terrible, 1,010%, but it could be better. Maybe that's the best thing. It could be better. So then Renee Paquette was backstage with, speaking of, 4 Belt Mone, the CEO, basically saying how she's going to fight Momo Watanabe. She's going to, defend her TBS championship. She seems a little, obviously New Japan Professional Wrestling. But I feel like, God, I know she's going to retain. Mercedes Mone says Serena Deeb, is a woman of 1,000 holds. But, she will break Momo for her. And, and then once again, say Monet changes everything, Then we had a Best Wrestler Alive, Max Craster, being confronted by Switchblade Jay White, getting hit with, what is it called again? Oh, what is his finishing move? Oh my God, I can't believe I can't think of it. Blade Runner? I think it was Blade Runner. Blade Runner. Okay, so, I got that right. So I thought that, I love Switchblade Jay White. And even then he went on and talked about how Adam Copeland's going to take back the AEW World Championship for everybody in the locker room. So that was cool. Main event time, we have Ricochet and the AEW Continental Champion Kazuchika Okada taking on Swerve Strickland and Brody King. At the end, I like this match. This match was it was decent. It was super decent. But these two guys, Okada and Ricochet, it's to the point where these guys need every little flow of momentum, because let's just face it, like I said, Ricochet, the promo, this contract signing he did earlier, and the way he's been perceived in AEW just seems like a bratty kid walking around with the backwards hat. And I love Ricochet. When he was in WWE, I was like, man, he deserves so much better. But now he comes to AEW, and I had high hopes. But I don't know if the booking, the storylines, it's a little lackluster. But he deserves something. He deserves to be something. And right now you kind of have, and it's kind of ironic that his partner Kazuchika Okada, in my opinion, is kind of stuck in the same boat. Ever since he made it to AEW, he hasn't really had that same shine that he had when he was wrestling in Japan. Now he has that. Now he has his a catchphrase. He says the B word all the time. You know what I mean? Like, is that really all he's good for? And then whenever he goes into a match, something that I've kind of noticed about Okada, maybe it's just me, that it doesn't really seem like he is like he's willing to go the extra mile to produce a move that might chance him getting hurt, I guess you can say. It's just standard matches. Okada, it seems like AEW brought in Okada to be like, oh, we're gonna have him just take on, because the only guy that's really, really good with Kazuchika Okada, well, there's multiple. Two, obviously, Will Ospreay, and of course Kenny Omega. I feel like Kenny Omega, although he is challenging Konosuke Takeshita for that AEW International Championship at Revolution, maybe dethrones Okada. But for me, I would like to see Ricochet, get that Continental Championship. He turned heel, which kind of a shocker, and he hasn't shown any interest or any hints at being part of the Hurt Syndicate. But at this point, I feel like, either he joins or he doesn't. But I know Cedric Alexander has recently been released from WWE. And I bet MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and Bobby Lashley are, pushing hard for a nice little, Hurt Business reunion. Which I wouldn't be against. But you kind of have to have Ricochet somewhere. You kind of do. Like I said, if Ricochet wants to continue being a heel, being a single hard ass, Swerve Strickland did bring up his wife Samantha, which was kind of crazy. But maybe she comes and she becomes a manager for Ricochet, and he gets better. He's like that, that heel that has his girlfriend cheat for him, and not cheat for him, like not that way, but like she gets involved in his match. You know what I mean. I'm just kidding. Moving on. So Dynamite, pretty good. Obviously, this was the go home. This was the go home episode before Revolution. So it did its purpose. And now we're gonna talk about some AEW Revolution, some picks, preview and predictions, however you want to call it. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So hey, do not go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez. Every Monday night, live on the GSMC Sports Network, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside the ring, all the backstage, curtain calls, rumors, dramas, and conspiracy theories in terms of professional wrestling. We talk about superstar, inactive statuses, and injury updates, contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings. We talk about promotions from WWE to AEW to TNA to Ring of Honor, New Japan Professional Wrestling to game-changing wrestling. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show 1010%. So make sure you guys Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show to get some cool notifications when we go live and produce new awesome content that is absolutely 1010% FREE free. So what are you waiting for? All right, without further ado, let's go and jump on into my AEW Revolution picks and previews. Make sure you guys hit up that tips and donations link. Make sure during the live chats, you guys hit up that super chat to be part of the show, to change the direction, to be the show host. So we always definitely love hearing from you guys. All right, we have Revolution live from the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, California. That's weird. Bam. Oh, there we go. That's why. All right, cool. Okay, scratch that. City of Angels, home of the Los Angeles Lakers, who are absolutely kicking ass and taking names ever since Luka Doncic joined LeBron James. Dalton Connect, Austin Reeves. They're doing pretty good. Are they NBA Finals bound? Maybe. Tony Khan was actually posting during Twitter. He was sitting behind Luka at the Lakers game, so I thought that was actually pretty cool. So he's getting ready for AEW Revolution. All the stars backstage of AEW are getting ready for Revolution. Revolution has been like a cornerstone PLE for AEW. A little bit since has it been since it's existent? Why can't I say that word? That's weird. Just kidding. Moving on. So AEW Revolution Los Angeles. Let's go ahead and let's go and break it down. Let's dig on into it. 0 hours. We have a 0 hour tag team match. I love MXM Collection, but this is going to be just an easy, babyface win here. Huge fan, Orange Cassidy. Definitely love 1010% Mark Briscoe, and forgive me, but I don't know if that picture is just too small. Why does he look like, kind of looks like Kurt Angle with black hair. I'm just kidding, no. Who is that guy? Oh my God, I definitely gotta check that out. Anyways, moving on. I definitely think this is gonna be a nice way to kind of get the show started. Any show that includes Mark Briscoe is going to be an absolute banger. So his team's gonna kick some ass, take some names. We have an AEW Continental Championship match. Brody King, he won the tournament to be the number one contender for Kaz Okada's AEW Continental Championship. For one, I don't think I do love Brody King. I do, and I feel like he's been kind of floating around House of Black. He was kind of like the enforcer of Malachi Black, and with the Buddy Matthews rumored being injured with an ankle injury, this could damn near be his chance to win a championship and to kind of stand on his own in terms of the singles division in AEW. But right now, Kazuchika Okada, nobody really seems to have, they've been, competitors have been close. This match is going to be exactly, it's going to be Brody King basically showcasing that he can possibly become an AEW champion, whether if it's the international champ or maybe even Ring of Honor as well. So I feel like that's going to be mostly the match. Okada's going to win. Brody King's going to lose, but ultimately win, if you know what I mean. So I don't know if Okada's going to cheat to win. I feel like he will. He kind of alluded to it, at Grand Slam Australia with Buddy Matthews. Not Buddy Matthews. Yeah, Buddy Matthews, right? Oh my God, I can't believe I'm blanking on everybody's name right now. What is going on? Yeah, so I feel like Okada's going to retain this championship because as of right now, I can't really see why you would put the belt on Brody King. Like I said, I don't know. I don't really see a championship change happening here. Next, we have Swerve Strickland taking on Ricochet. Love Ricochet, but I feel like right now he's too cocky to kind of, to kind of get his stuff straight. I feel like the way Ricochet's character is being portrayed in AEW today, he needs to have a title on him. The AEW World Heavyweight Championship is a little much. I feel like Swerve is going to get, he's going to get a shot. He's going to get a shot at Jon Moxley. And it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I would prefer Swerve to win, but Ricochet might find a way to kind of weasel his way in, or maybe Prince Nana screws over Swerve, and then bam, we see a character paradigm shift. I'm just kidding. No, but that'd be pretty interesting. For one, who I'd want to see win is Swerve. I'm like, you know what? Damn, I do love Ricochet though. Ricochet, he's amazing. Literally inside the ring, he's a walking highlight reel. WWE wasted his talent. Now he's in AEW. Some questionable booking storyline calls, but hey, I'm still heavily invested. I'm 65% Swerve right now, 35% Ricochet winning this match, because it just makes more sense for Swerve to take on Jon Moxley heading forward. But hey, anything could happen. MJF taking on the Hangman Adam Page. I want to see this match flex to a hardcore match, but obviously that's just my greediness of being a WWE Attitude Era kind of guy. But then again, the lifeblood of AEW seems like they are a little bit more edgier, that they're not afraid to kind of push the mark a little bit in terms of hardcore wrestling, in terms of grungy, grody stuff. They're willing to do it. They're willing to do it. Obviously the whole syringe in Swerve Strickland's mouth, the plastic bag around Bryan Danielson, Orange Cassidy chugging forced to drink chemicals from the Death Riders. But I want to see this match get crazy. Like I said, I feel like with the two talents you see right in front of you, they're the foundation of AEW. I just recently said it in the past segment. They're the foundation of AEW. Did I say ECW? AEW. Ever since it began in 2019. Two young rising stars, MJF recently signing a rumored lucrative $15 million plus per year contract. And, Hangman Adam Page always putting on great content, putting on great matches. He can't, I feel like the fans can't help but to cheer for him. I feel like although sometimes he looks a little heelish, I feel like at the end of the day, the fans just want to cheer for Hangman and they want to boo MJF because that's what he's good at. And that's what Hangman Adam Page is good at. But I hope this feud strings all the way out to AEW All in Texas to have one final battle. I know it is 4 months, but if any of these, any guys could build up a nice little feud for about 4 months, kind of like a Drew McIntyre CM Punk feud, to make it just go on, and have you, sitting on the edge of your seat, absolutely excited. I feel like it'd be these two guys right here. But Revolution, who will pick up the dub? You know what? Being honest, let's go ahead and let Hangman win one. Let's let Hangman Adam Page win. I feel like during Revolution, I see all the champions retaining, and I don't really see a title changes happening here. So, if all the titles, remain the same, no, I don't think the Hurt Syndicate is... No, we'll get into that once we see the match. But all in all, I see Hangman Adam Page picking up that dub. Hurt Syndicate taking on the Outrunners. I love the Outrunners, but the Hurt Syndicate will continue their reign as the AEW World Tag Team Champions. I'm sorry. Although Outrunners super impressive, and if there's anybody that can push them to the limit, it's definitely them. But the Hurt Syndicate right now, you have Bobby Lashley, you have Shelton Benjamin. These guys are top-tier stars that are going to get your promotion, Real Wrestling promotion, a lot of eyes, a lot of attention, definitely a lot of engagement in terms of wrestling fandom. Bobby Lashley, oh my God, such an impressive specimen. And Shelton Benjamin, he's a veteran. But still light on his feet. Probably going to be wrestling for about a decade, if not more. So, I don't see any reason why you would take the belts off of the Hurt Syndicate as of right now. Mariah May taking on Toni Storm. I feel like this will be a Hollywood ending for Mariah May. She had a nice little championship reign. Nothing against it. But, during Toni Storm's reign, and once when her and Mariah May were running rampant together, I feel like the AEW women's division was better, but that's just me. Obviously, that's my opinion, 1,010%. Love both girls. Both think they're talented as hell. But I do like the belt more on Timeless Toni Storm. But these girls are going to be fighting each other more and more and more in the future of AEW. After this, probably, maybe Mariah May takes a little bit of a vacation or an absence from AEW, and then you have a couple of people, and then maybe she comes back, as a, not as a babyface, but maybe she comes back to help Toni Storm. Maybe she's in a feud with like somebody else, getting her arse kicked. And then, Mariah May, oh, can you give me a second chance? Oh, the reunion is back. Timeless Toni Storm, Mariah May. And then maybe you kind of have something like that. But on the other hand, maybe Mariah May sneaks a victory. Maybe she takes the title right back from the Timeless Toni Storm. But for me, I feel like if you were going to give the title to Toni Storm, you should have. Well, then again, this is technically her rematch. Her bouncing the title back to Mariah May, honestly, it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me whatsoever. Like I said, these girls are going to be at each other's throats for years and decades to come. So it wouldn't really shock me if Mariah May, picks up the dub here. So right now, I'm kind of like, 55 Toni Storm and then 45% Mariah May. All right, we got Konosuke Takeshita defending his AEW International Championship against Kenny Omega. Ever since Kenny Omega made it back to AEW, he was out for a full year on an injury, and ever since he's made it back, he's made an impact. He's made a huge impact. Definitely the spice, the sauce that AEW has been missing. So I like Konosuke Takeshita. He was like a student of Omega. They had a nice little mutual respect that obviously Takeshita kind of showing his showing the mentor, like the student becomes the teacher kind of thing. So when I have Konosuke Takeshita retaining here. I do 1,010%, and it might be too soon in terms I feel like it's a little bit too soon for Omega. He's made it back for about like a month and a half, going on 2 months. Returning to AEW, and something that Kenny Omega, and this is not a knock against Takeshita or anything like that, but something about Kenny Omega is he doesn't really need a title for people to watch him or to kind of give a crap about what he's doing on the show. Konosuke Takeshita, ever since joining the Don Callis family, he's done nothing but win no matter what. So I feel like he's going to retain. But if there's anybody that could dethrone him, it's got to be Omega. It's got to be Kenny Omega. But like I said before, like in the match with Okada and King, I feel like there's only one guy that could take that Continental Championship away from Okada, and I feel like it's Omega. And I kind of feel bad for Okada. Ever since the whole EVPs didn't work out with Matthew Nicholas Jackson, Jack Perry. You had Jack Perry drop the title, yeah. But then Okada still has the title because he's getting paid he's getting paid a lot of money from Tony Khan once when he signed him back. I think it's almost been a whole year. Him, Mercedes Mone, and Ospreay are almost in their year anniversary. That's crazy. So like I said, I don't I have Takeshita retaining. I don't know. Right now it seems like the right move. Mercedes Mone taking on Momo Watanabe for the TBS Championship. Oh God, say it ain't so. Monet changes everything. I feel I got Mercedes Monet still being 4 belts Monet. I do love Momo, and I feel like she would be great in AEW, but the way, like I said, she's running on a year. She's running on a year in AEW. She's one of the best women's wrestlers. In my opinion, oh God, and I hate to say it because I do love to often not trash her. I never trash Mercedes Moné. I just feel like Tony Khan, the moment she came to AEW, just gave her everything. And it's not that she doesn't deserve everything or that she's not talented or amazing enough to deserve everything. Maybe I'm just jealous. No. But she is, God, and I hate, and it makes me want to, bite my tongue. But I feel like she's going to retain. And I feel like what AEW needs is for Mercedes Moné to be successful and be the cornerstone of women's wrestling. And that's something that, Tony Khan has done a really good job of. But the belts are too much. Belts are too much. Drop the New Japan Professional Wrestling Strong Championship or one of the other ones. Keep her the TBS Championship because that's ultimately kind of a simulated width of AEW. I feel like she will beat Jade's record. I respect Mercedes Mone. But I do feel like Tony Khan has kind of given her a lot, and I've read a lot of reports saying that backstage she's she's kind of like as she's portrayed on on camera. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. It is what it is. Sometimes when you are that good, sometimes when you are that amazing, sometimes if you work for everything you've ever earned, if you ever earned a big fat money of a paycheck, and you deserved every dime of it based on hard work, dedication, and consistency, commitment, then you deserve what did Triple H said to Seth Rollins: if nobody's hating you, then you're not successful. No, what did he say? Damn it! Oh God, what did he say? He said, if nobody hates you, then you're not making money or something like that. I'm not too sure. Damn it, I'm gonna actually fact check that during the break. But I got Mercedes Mone retaining her championship cleanly. Next, we have Will Ospreay taking on Kyle Fletcher in a steel cage match, much like I alluded to earlier in the segment, sorry. I feel like no title will change hands. No titles will change hands. And besides Timeless Tony Storm, most of the titles being defended are from heels. So, during the non-title matches, like, Ospreay, what was that other match that I saw? What was that other match? Can't think of it. I feel like Will Ospreay is going to pick up the dub here. Hangman Adam Page against MJF. I feel like Hangman's going to win. And then Will Ospreay is going to beat Kyle Fletcher because Kyle Fletcher beat him last time. So this is, going to be a nice one. They're going to have probably a rubber match at AEW all in Texas. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe a number one contenders match for the AEW International Championship. That's when you would have, Konosuke Takeshita drop that title against a competitor like Will Ospreay would be pretty awesome. And like I said, I feel like everybody holding the championships are going to retain. I have Moxley picking up the dub here. Like I said earlier in the segment when I was reviewing AEW Dynamite, I see an opportunity for Wheeler Yuta to either help Jon Moxley win or Adam Copeland win. And the way that Jon Moxley kind of stormed out of Dynamite, basically saying that you got what you want, Copeland. I'm all by myself now. Like maybe that was a little bit of a pride, a little bit of an act there. But like I said, I don't really see the Death Rider storyline really going anywhere. And if he did drop the title, it would still be the best storyline on in AEW. But you kind of have to have him hold that title. He's still holding it ransom. He's still holding AEW. He's still grabbing it by the throat. It's going to take a real hardcore babyface to dethrone Moxley. And obviously, coming to mind, I'm thinking maybe Darby. Maybe Darby becomes champion, perhaps. There's been speculations and reports saying that if Copeland wins, then we're going to get a Christian Cage, cash in. He does have that contract where he can cash in anytime, anywhere. And then you have Swerve Strickland. Swerve Strickland could possibly, maybe he defeats Ricochet, and then he regains his AEW World Heavyweight Championship. But as of right now, I have Jon Moxley retaining, and still AEW World Heavyweight Champion is Jon Moxley. So I just hope it's gonna, it is, not scratch that. It's not that I hope that AEW is gonna put on a good PLE. They always do, so it never really shocks me. But definitely can't wait to watch it on Sunday. I was so hoping that it's streaming on Prime Video meant that I could watch it for free. But that's just me being a cheapskate, I guess, But I want to buy it because it'd probably be worth every penny. Every single time I watch an AEW PLE, I'm in for a long ride because you have about 3 hours for the show. You have the pre-show, then you have the press conference show after, and it takes up a chunk of your day, and and it's all wrestling content, and it's all cool to watch. So it's not like it's not money well spent. Like if you go ahead and go to Buffalo Wild Wings to spend $50, you're only there for probably like 2 hours because the appetizers, the drinks, and stuff like that. Like everything's expensive nowadays. It's insane. So, and it's for a good cause, professional wrestling, kicking ass, taking names. All right, next segment. The WWE Women's Mid-Card titles are in trouble. We're going to talk about it. We're going to dive on into it. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday night live on the GSMC Sports Network to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside the ring, backstage curtain calls, all the rumors, all the drama. We talk about basically absolutely everything in terms of professional wrestling. We talk about contract status of superstars, inactive statuses, injury updates. We talk about contract negotiations and extensions. We talk about promotions from WWE to AEW to TNA to Ring of Honor. So make sure you guys Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into our third segment. We got the WWE Women's Mid-Card titles in trouble, ? Go ahead and leave a comment after watching this show. Let me know if you feel like the women's mid-card titles are in trouble, or if you feel like, it might be a little bit slow and steady and you might have to wait for these eggs to hatch, but it's going to hatch into something absolutely beautiful, which I believe so. I trust it. I honestly do, 1,010%. But, I love Lyra Valkyria as a babyface champion. Chelsea Green as a huge United States Women's Champion, being a heel. But, the women's division has been the backbone of NXT, and it looks like it's only going to grow more and more and more, and it's going to flood into Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. You have a whole bunch of prospects waiting on the back burner to debut on the main roster, which a lot of fans are absolutely scratching and clawing their way to possibly get it. You see a lot of talents in NXT that could make an impact on Monday Night Raw. Obviously, thinking of, you have Kaylani Jordan would be a great. You have the Meta Girls, Lash Legend, and Jakara Jackson. Jada Parker would be amazing on the main roster as well. There's just gang load. I would love to see Fatal Influence. Why not? I'd love to see them get into it. But NXT, they have a great women's, division, and I don't really feel like they're going to touch it quite just yet. But, hey, who knows? The women, basically, they finally got their mid-card titles. They should have gotten it basically like years ago before they lost a lot of talent, because a lot of women were just fighting for one championship. So then, essentially, your way up to the top, you would get bottlenecked right there, and everybody would be kind of stuck in the predicament where, hey, not everybody could win. Not everybody could hold the most prestigious prize in the women's division, the WWE Women's Championship. So then, there was, then the Women's World Heavyweight Champion, was created. Then the Intercontinental Championship was created. Then the, United States Women's Championship the United States Women's Championship was created before the Intercontinental. But then North American Championship, the women's in the NXT division, NXT promotion was developed first. Obviously, you just saw the inaugural winner there, Kaylani Jordan, holding that title. But, it was long overdue. It was long overdue for some mid-card titles, but some fans aren't actually loving the direction that it is heading into as of this moment. With the WWE Women's United States Championship, so far all we've got was, a feud between Michin and Chelsea Green. Between Chelsea Green, title competitors have been, it's been insanely repetitive. Even in Monday Night Raw, Ivy Nile, Dakota Kai going after Lyra Valkyria. So, some fresh faces within those mid-card title contentions could be a pivotal factor for WWE's success. You also have Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade. You have Sol Ruka. You have a lot of these NXT veterans that can make their jump up and make a huge impact on Monday Night Raw or on SmackDown. So, WWE needs to start having some new fresh faces. And with this, NIL, WWE ID, the whole Evolve thing, I feel like they're going to get those superstars rather, quicker rather than later. I did watch WWE Evolve, and the women's match was it was great. Carly Bright and Kendall Gray, absolutely phenomenal, 1,010%. Armstrong was great. I, for one, am a huge fan of her already. So, you can't wait to see what a lot of these women superstars would do on the main roster. But WWE, I feel like they need to switch it up a little bit. And I know, you've recently had this whole thing happen between Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi that's going to bust things wide open because, I kind of hated the fact that they tag team together to win that championship, which ultimately I feel kind of crippled the women's tag team division. Like, you don't see Katana Chance or Kenny Carter anymore. You saw one half of the unholy union get released, and you also saw who's the other tag? Pure Fusion Collective. You still have Shayna Baszler, you still have Zoe Stark, but you had a lot of you had some potential women's world tag team champions, like actual tag teams, which would have been better. For the division that instead of Belair and Cargo, who belong in the singles division. I was a little blind a little bit. At first I hated it, then I grew to love it, then I kind of hated it. But as of right now, I feel like it's a great choice to have, maybe Jade. I feel like Jade is, main event worthy, 1,010%. But it wouldn't surprise me if she's the one to, dethrone, Chelsea Green, which would be pretty cool, which would be pretty badass. I feel like the mid-card titles still aren't getting a lot of TV time. Not a lot of good, possible, bookings and storylines are going to be developed. We have Becky Lynch still in the wakes of coming back. Asuka, Kairi Sane still set to return. Alexa Bliss would make the WWE Women's United States Championship absolutely 1,010% interesting as hell. So I would love to see that. I would have loved to see a little bit of I feel like Dakota Kai maybe does have a little bit more of a pop than Lyra Valkyria. Natalya as well could have definitely represented the WWE Intercontinental Championship in the women's division. She's a veteran. She's a veteran. She definitely acquires a lot of attention. She definitely, in terms of the universe, love her. When she's very live on social media about things, and she's the sweetheart of WWE. And you've seen her family hold the Intercontinental Championship held high. Io Sky's another name that would be absolute fire in this division as well. But right now, as the Women's World Heavyweight Champion, I don't really see her dropping the title anytime soon. But maybe, because I feel like that'd be kind of messed up. You know what I mean? Rhea Ripley gets her rematch. So then we have a triple threat match at WrestleMania 41. Io Sky taking on Rhea Ripley, taking on Bianca Belair, the winner of the Elimination Chamber match. It all seems groovy. I know Bianca Belair is actually putting her WrestleMania undefeated streak on the line. Maybe Jade Cargill finds a way to kind of screw her over. Maybe. But I don't know. I feel like, I feel bad for Io. But in terms of the Women's Intercontinental title division, I feel like Io, Lyra, and Liv Morgan, those girls would be absolutely amazing wrestling for that mid-card title. Ultimately kind of creating like a little bit, not like a 4-horsewoman kind of thing, but I don't know. I definitely do feel like they need they need something different. They need a new taste. And both champions, during the elimination qualifying matches were pinned. Were pinned. Bayley pinned Lyra Valkyria. Chelsea Green was pinned by Naomi, which was kind of shocking. And Naomi, I think she won cleanly, by the way. So what the heck, man? I'm just kidding. No, Chelsea, WWE has yet to make Lyra and the Intercontinental Championship a huge big deal for WWE. Kind of like what you're seeing with the Speed Championships for the for just the women and the men's. WWE doesn't really seem to care about it. they don't really seem to care about it. You know, you don't see you don't see Candice LeRae parading around the WWE Women's Speed Championship, which means, dude, like, if WWE is going to showcase it on SmackDown when she's not proudly holding the title over her shoulder, you know, if WWE doesn't care, why should we care? You know what I mean? As fans, why should it matter? You know, I know WWE Speed, I had so much high hopes for it, think that it was going to be like a reboot of like 205 Live, but it wasn't. It sucked. But I don't know. And then Chelsea Green, the United States champion, was pinned again. She was pinned cleanly by Sol Ruca in a tag team match on NXT this Tuesday. So I feel like Sol, you know, a random like underdog, fresh face coming into the WWE would be pretty cool. You know, and then she would give a title shot to like Zarya or something like that. Maybe Zarya, you know, you know what? I feel like the women's division on SmackDown, I feel like they have a lot of heels. I feel like they already have heels, you know, so it's not really that much. There has been speculations that Trish Stratus actually might be able to dethrone Chelsea Green of that championship, and I feel like that would create a lot of buzz. That would create a lot of prestige immediately if you have the 7-time WWE Women's Champion win. And Trish looks great. You know, she looks like she can go for definitely another run, another championship run, and eventually drop the title to someone who's you know, ready, you know, someone who makes it up from NXT, and then they drop it, you know, she drops the title to them. So that would be pretty cool. That would, you know, wouldn't be a bad storyline. Wouldn't be a bad booking right there. But being honest, these two champions, you know, they need a path, they need a story, they need a perspective. The titles should be defended quite more. Both titles, you know, I feel will change hands at WrestleMania. Everybody knows that WrestleMania is kind of like the Super Bowl in terms of the NFL, how it's kind of like, okay, so WrestleMania is over, brand new season. It's going to be a brand new season, and I feel like the new season is going to come out with brand new title holders. So that should be pretty interesting. You know, so, you know, can't wait to see it. You know, some say 5 titles, you know, for each brand is a little bit too much with the Women's World Tag Team Championships floating around. But honestly, I disagree. 1,010%. I like it. I like the fact that they implemented a women's mid-card title, something they should have done a long, long time ago. You know, but back then, you know, giving women a little bit more television time wasn't really a huge priority for WWE. Circa, you know, 2015, 2000, yeah. But it was, you know, it was about time. It was about damn time. And you shouldn't get rid of it. Definitely should not get rid of it 1,010%. But, you know, just a little bit of love here and there, creating a new, you know, couple of new faces coming in would be pretty badass. But you know, I definitely don't think, I feel like it's not in trouble. The women's mid-card titles aren't in trouble, but it, you know, much like everything in this world, it could definitely be elevated a little bit more. All right, without further ado, we're going to talk about our next segment. We got Becky Lynch's WrestleMania return. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So hey, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right, and we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday night live on the GSMC Sports Network, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside the ring, all the backstage curtain calls, all the rumors, all the drama, all the conspiracy theories that fans love to play with. We talk about, you know, superstar, you know, contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings, their inactive statuses, injury updates. We talk about promotions from WWE to Stardom to New Japan Professional Wrestling to Game-Changing Wrestling to the NWA to Ring of Honor. We talk about it here on this show, 1,010%. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we are covering it. So remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network. All right. So without further ado, we're going to talk about Becky Lynch's WrestleMania return. You know, it's still likely. It's still likely and it's still up in the air. But, you know, me being brutally honest, if I could book Becky Lynch as soon as, like 4 weeks away now? Like, it is rapidly coming up. And, she's done it before, randomly popping up at SummerSlam, defeating Bianca Belair for that championship. But then again, that wasn't really ideal. I remember watching that and I was like, this is kind of stupid. But like I said, nothing against Becky, but I don't know. I just want to see something like more like thought out, more emotionally manipulating of the fans. I just want to see, because I heard Becky, she said in an interview that when she comes back to WWE, she feels like it's going to be like just a different prowess. It's going to be just a different aura. She's going to have a different persona, different perspective coming back to WWE. And, there's been some rumors saying that she might drop the whole the man thing. But I don't know. That's kind of a thing that's going to follow you your whole entire career, I would think. But anyways, Becky Lynch has been absent from WWE since May of last year. Was recently announced. Sports Illustrated ranked her number 20 of the greatest WWE superstars of all time, and then in the women's, she was number 1 ranked in terms of the women's wrestling of all time, because she was number 20 in all of wrestling. She's number 1 in terms of the women. Becky Lynch has announced that her paperback release of the best-selling book, Becky Lynch, The Man, Not Your Average Girl, is she posted on Instagram saying that a release is going to happen, but it's paperback, so that's pretty badass. Congratulations to her. A bestseller too. That's pretty damn cool. The WWE universe is eagerly awaiting her much anticipated WWE return. Becky Lynch had, she was last defeated by Liv Morgan thanks to Dominic Mysterio in a steel cage match. It was a rematch for her women's world heavyweight championship. So yeah, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it 1,010%. With wrestlers like Roxanne Perez, the Meta Girls, there's a lot of new talent that are going to make their way to the main roster. I could definitely see why Becky Lynch might be a little bit reluctant of returning to WWE. She was talking to a guy in an interview, and talking about with Jade returning, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte, Asuka, right around the corner. Is this the right time for Becky Lynch to return to WWE? I could basically, I can see her in a match with Lyra Valkyria. Maybe she comes back, student of the game. She comes back, from the mentor. Last time you saw Valkyria and Becky Lynch in the same ring was once when Valkyria, dethroned Becky Lynch for the NXT Women's Championship. So, wouldn't it be much of a surprise if those two women go at it for the Intercontinental Championship? And if she wins it, it wouldn't be much of a surprise as well. She would represent that title super duper well. But to be honest, would it, with her winning, would it really further the women's mid-card title picture? I could see it, but then now you have Io Sky, now you have Rhea Ripley, now you have Becky Lynch back, Asuka's back. Like, the women's main card title is going to need Becky Lynch. I feel like if she ultimately kind of goes to and defeats Lyra Valkyria for that Intercontinental Championship, I feel like it'd be great. I feel like it'd be really good for her. But, the Intercontinental Championship has always kind of been like designed for like rising stars. What people often kind of compare it to is like a stepping stone to the main event division. But, maybe we kind of have like a Becky Lynch Intercontinental Championship reign, kind of like The Miz, where The Miz, he would, flirt back in and out, being the Intercontinental Champion, winning the WWE Championship, then winning the Intercontinental Championship again. But and that could happen. And if anybody could do it, it'd be Becky. Becky is 1,010%. She earned her way up to the top. She started as like this this adorable little Irish lass kicker that you really you're like, oh, she's going to be the man. She's going to be the face of the women's division one day. No way, dude. No way. But she's kicked ass. She's done amazing. definitely got to throw some flowers where flowers are due. And Becky Lynch, if she decides to go after the Intercontinental Championship, maybe for me it might take a little bit of adjusting, but there's no doubt in my mind that she will make this mid-card title as prestigious as ever. So that is a huge possibility as well. A lot of people might think that she might actually team up with Lyra Valkyria. Lyra loses the belt at WrestleMania, goes at a rematch, the Monday Night Raw after Mania, then she ends up getting her arse kicked, and there's only one person that could save her, a returning Becky Lynch, and then they go after the tag team championships in the women's division, Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. That could work as well. Like you've seen it. But then again, like I said, you kind of see it with Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. How I feel like they need to be in the singles division because like I said, there's a lot of women's tag teams that has suffered because of Jade and Bianca being tag team champions. Like Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, like the Unholy Union. One of the girls got released. It sucks. It's crazy. Like those, it should be like tag team division going at it, tag team. Jakara Jackson, Last Legend, those girls should be champions, man. But to no avail because you had two main eventers, two singles wrestlers who could be women's champion, world's heavyweights champion. Basically, kick ass and take names, and they kept defending, they kept retaining, and maybe it was a WWE's attempt to make the World Tag Team titles a little more prestigious, which I can get because at first like I said, I hated the Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill tag team, but Jade, she had to get used to things going on in WWE. Now she eventually did. And it was good, but now it seems like it's kind of running a little dry here. I can imagine, and I kind of hate it too, Nia Jax, LeRae possibly going for the women's tag team championships. Look what happened to Candice LeRae as soon as her and Indy Hartwell went heel. Indy Hartwell, she got released. LeRae still sticking and kicking around, but and there's the speculations about Alexa Bliss teaming with Nikki Cross, obviously that's a reunion. They were, they have won the Women's World Tag Team Championships before, but I don't know. Right now that division is it's kind of up in the air. So maybe, just maybe, Valkyria and Lynch being champions would make it nice, make it good. Because I love the fact that Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are champions. I feel like that's a great choice. I love it for Raquel. I love it for Liv. They're 3-time. It's not like they're two heavyweights going at it. Two heavyweights tag teaming like Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, teaming up just to kind of find an excuse to have gold around your waist. These girls, Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are 3-time Women's World Tag Team Championship holders. So, it's not the same thing. It's, it's kind of comparing apples to oranges there. But, we need a tag team that can ultimately kind of challenge them. Ultimately challenge them. And Becky Lynch, she has beef with Liv Morgan, so it'd be kind of cool to see her and Lyra Valkyria teaming up to go after, the Women's World Tag Team Championships. So that could happen. That could happen. I want to see Becky come back. I do, but like I said, probably being brutally honest, she's probably going to return to Monday Night Raw. I doubt her coming back before WrestleMania. I know SmackDown is airing right now on the East Coast, so maybe she popped up on SmackDown randomly, and I'm doing this video and I'm like, shoot, it proved me wrong, But I don't know, it'd be pretty cool. Becky coming back would do wonders for any title that she's contending for. For me personally, I would love to see her back in the main title picture, but I thought maybe if Liv held on to the title, maybe that could have been a future. But now that you had the championship around Io Sky and this whole Bianca Belair thing, and Rhea Ripley say she used to have friends and all this other stuff, it was a shocker that Io won the title. It really was. And Bianca Belair is a SmackDown superstar along with Jade, so it's not like they can bring their beef to Monday Night Raw. The only reason why they were allowed on Raw because they were the Women's World Tag Team Champions. So I don't know if maybe Bianca Belair is going to stay on Monday Night Raw and to keep her and Jade apart. I'm not too sure, but I would love to see Becky contend for any title in her comeback. But I just don't think she's going to come back before WrestleMania. All right, without further ado, we got our final segment. I recently spoke about how Becky Lynch was number 1 ranked on Sports Illustrated's Best Women's Wrestlers of All Time. I'm going to give you mine. I'm going to give you my top 10 greatest women's wrestlers. When we come back, so grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage. Join me here in about 20 seconds. So, hey, do not go anywhere. Alright, and we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday night live on the GSMC Sports and Podcasting Network at 9 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside the ring, backstage curtain calls, all the rumors, all the drama, all the conspiracy theories. We talk about superstar inactive statuses, superstar injury status. We talk about their contracts, contract negotiations, and maybe some awesome extensions. We talk about promotions from WWE to AEW to TNA to Ring of Honor to New Japan Professional Wrestling to game-changing wrestling. Basically, if it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here and cover it on the show. So remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the network. All right, without further ado, let's talk about the top 10 greatest women in professional wrestling according to your boy, Eric Rodriguez, the host of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. And I gotta be honest, much like every list you'll ever come across, whether it's the top 10 quarterbacks of all time, whether it's the top 10 shooting guards in the NBA, whether it's the top 10 home run hitters of all time, in Major League Baseball. There's always going to be some sort of a biases. There's always going to be some sort of a, I was, kind of brought up on professional wrestling during the Attitude Era, during the pre-Women's Evolution era. Then I kind of took a little bit of a break. I got to be honest. I took a little bit of a break from professional wrestling. Eventually dove back into it late 2010s. And then as of right now, I'm back into it 1,010%. I'm heavy into it. And I don't really see my fandom. I don't really see my attention going elsewhere, especially under the Triple H, Paul Levesque era. But I'm going to give you guys my top 10 WWE women's wrestlers of all time. But first and foremost, let's have some honorable mentions here. We're going to talk about Alundra Blaze. Alundra Blaze is not on my top 10, but she is a huge trailblazer in terms of women's wrestling. A 3-time women's champion. She's a WCW Cruiserweight champion. Obviously, Alundra Blaze, recently being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Super cool, super awesome. I definitely feel like she is, like I said, she's like, she's a trailblazer. That's pretty, she's amazing. She's amazing. She did the WWE women's wrestling once when a lot of people were kind of turning a blind eye to it. Probably one of those things where probably once when the women's wrestling came on, a lot of fans got up to get another beer, got another soda. She made sure she put on some great matches against Bull Nakano, and it's awesome. Very admirable. So, as one of the honorable mentions on my list, another honorable mention I have is Melina Perez. She's a 3-time women's champion. She's also a 2-time Divas champion. So, definitely think that's pretty cool, 1,010%. She was great, especially during my ending era of professional wrestling, during little bit. Would it really be the Ruthless Aggression era? I'm not too sure. I don't think so. Another honorable mention, we have Jacqueline. Jacqueline, one of my favorite wrestlers during the Attitude Era. I remember when her, Ivory would go at it. It was, it was pretty cool. It was pretty awesome. Sable, but I wasn't a huge Sable guy. I was more into Jacqueline and whatnot. So Jacqueline, two-time women's champion. She was also a cruiserweight champion. She's also a WWE Hall of Famer. So we talk about our honorable mentions. Now I want to get into my dishonorable mentions. I'm just kidding. No, these are some women that like I said, I went over the Sports Illustrated list. I'm kind of happy that these girls didn't make it on the top 10. Ronda Rousey, not a huge Ronda Rousey guy. I feel like although she came from MMA and the UFC, she was and although maybe she should have started in WWE NXT, and she has said backstage that during her time in WWE creatives didn't really kind of give her and the other women kind of like a little bit of a rundown as opposed to the men. But, maybe she could have been great. I feel like maybe she was a little bit too UFC for the WWE. But yeah, I'm happy she wasn't really on that list. Sable, like I said, I wasn't a huge Sable kind of guy. She was, I'm not saying that she wasn't a good wrestler. I'm not saying that whatsoever at all. I remember she was with Mark Mero. And she was, that pretty face, the manager kind of thing. Winning the WWE Championship, but honestly, I'm just happy that Sable wasn't really on that list. Another one that I was happy that wasn't on the list was Stephanie McMahon. Corporately, it's cool, and I know that she was the driving voice behind the women's evolution and this and that and the other. But I feel like maybe, just maybe, and I know, having a hard-headed father like Vince McMahon, like his father was to him, you don't really kind of take advice from your kids. But, maybe, Stephanie McMahon could have been like, hey, Dad, maybe you should stop, with all these, but, then again, a lot said that, there's been speculation saying that, and that she wasn't aware of any of the allegations going around. But, she was the champion, around the whole Triple H, McMahon, Helmsley era. And I feel like she was only the women's champion to kind of stick it to the women's division that, hey, we hold all the gold here, which isn't a good reason of being a top 10 woman of all time. Nevertheless, top 20. So I'm happy Stephanie McMahon was not on that list, 1,010%. So let's go ahead and go on to my top 10 women of all time in terms of professional wrestling. Number 10, I got to start with Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair, she's a two-time women's champion, SmackDown. She's a SmackDown champion. She's won the Women's World Tag Team titles twice, and she's a Royal Rumble winner back in 2021. She's the future of WWE, still kicking ass and taking names. And at number 9, I got Mickie James. Mickie James, she's a huge advocate for professional wrestling in the women's division. She's a 5-time WWE Women's Champion. She's been Divas Champion. She's also been TNA Knockouts Women's Champion as well. And Mickie James she's been impressive. Once when she was back then, with her and Trish Stratus, the storylines that they had together was pretty funny, pretty interesting. They had great matches, nice chemistry together inside the ring. But every single time they stepped inside that ring, it was going to be an absolute, banger. So, Mickie James, I have at number 9. At number 8, I got Asuka. Asuka, WWE Women's Champion 3 times. NXT Women's Champion. She's a SmackDown Women's Champion. She's a Women's Tag Team Champion 4 times. Money in the Bank winner in 2020. And Royal Rumble winner in 2018. And she's coming back as well. So she still has a lot of accolades probably awaiting her. So 1,010% got to throw my flowers to put Asuka right there at number 8. All right, number 7, I got Rhea Bloody Ripley, a 2-time Women's World Heavyweight Champion, Raw Women's Champion, Tag Team Women's World Tag Team Champion, NXT Champion, NXT UK Champion, Royal Rumble winner in 2023. And if she doesn't regain that WWE Women's World Heavyweight Championship, maybe she might be a shoo-in to win the Women's Money in the Bank match. So, that would be pretty badass. That'd be pretty cool. 1,010%. But Rhea Ripley still kicking. Like I said about Belair, like I said about Asuka, these girls have a lot more accolades ahead of them. So, for one, I can't wait to see Rhea Ripley and what she does in the future in terms of WWE. All right, at number 6, I got Chyna, the woman WWE Women's Champion and WWF Intercontinental Champion, two-time WWF Intercontinental Champion. You know, like Alundra Blaze, I got to be honest, she was a trailblazer in the women's division. You know, and everything that happened, you know, with Chyna and, you know, her booking in WWE after you've kind of seen, you know, what, I don't know. I just feel like this woman was a huge reason why women's wrestling was, you know, prominent in the early 90s, not early 90s, like early 2000s, late 90s. You know, part of D-Generation X. She literally was the cornerstone of women's wrestling. You know, there wasn't really any hardcore, like, you know, hardcore women out there that, like, once when, like, you bring up the WWF/WWE to, like, just a, you know, random person who wasn't a wrestling fan, you know, but they would know Chyna. Everybody remembers the ninth, you know, the wonder of the world, who probably should have had some WWE title runs more, but I'm guessing they didn't give it to her because she would just be like an absolute dominant champion. You know, it's kind of like how you're seeing like Rhea Ripley right now in the WWE. When she's the champion, she just looks, you know, unstoppable. And I feel like Chyna would have been like she would have been like a 5 to like 10 time WWE Women's Champion and had title reigns that exceeded about 200, 300 plus days. So, you know, there's a reason why she doesn't have that much gold or accolades to her name. But the reason why she doesn't have all those accolades to her name is because of how damn impressive she really was. So in a way, it's kind of like, what doesn't kill you make you stronger, I guess you can say. That's what I'm alluding to. But, you know, that's the reason why I have Chyna so high. Because, you know, I know WWE was like, I don't think anyone's going to take this girl down. And no one would really believe it. So, number 5, I got Lita. Lita, a 4-time women's champion, a tag team women's champion, and a 2014 Hall of Famer. I remember when she debuted with S.A. Rios. And, you know, he was pushing her way too many times. And then Matt Hardy got involved. And then the whole thing with Edge happened. And it was, I'm just kidding. No, moving on. But she was great. Every single time she stepped inside the ring, and if it wasn't for her landing on her neck, you know, injuries happen. Sports injuries happen, and unfortunately for Lita, it was one that ultimately haunted her, kept her away from professional wrestling, and you know. But we all appreciate what Lita did for the women's division. You know, you see a lot of high flying back flips in terms of, you know, like you see Tiffany Stratton, like you see Io Sky. You see a lot of these women that women's wrestling wasn't like really like that. You know, wasn't really, you know, you don't see them going on the top ropes of hitting something other than an elbow drop. You know, Lita would do crazy stuff. She would jump from the top rope to the outside. She would jump, you know, she would leap over the top rope. She was Team Extreme, no fear. So, you know, she definitely, you know, paved the way for women to kind of be like, hey, you know what? That's a new, innovative style in professional wrestling that, you know, WWE women's superstars to this day grow up watching, and they're like, oh, you know what? That's pretty badass. And, you know, and then lo and behold, then they become WWE superstars, and then they, you know, have some moves that they, you know, acquired from Lita. So definitely love and respect that. At number 4, I'm having these girls share a spot. I'm just kidding. No, I am though. At number 4, I have Bayley and Sasha Banks, Mercedes Mone. Both these girls still kicking ass and taking names. I have them sharing a spot because you know, they're actually best friends in real life, guys. So you know, don't get on my arse too much there. But you know, Sasha Banks is a 5-time women's world champion, SmackDown women's world champion, a tag team champion 3 times. You know, and Bayley has accomplished basically everything under the sun. 2-time WWE Women's Champion, a 2-time SmackDown champion, a tag team champion twice, and NXT champion, where Rumble won her back in 2024, and she won the Money in the Bank back in 2019. So, you know, both these girls absolutely impressive. I have them sharing the number 4 spot, not out of disrespect, out of respect for their best friends. Come on, man, they were best friends. Moving on, I have Becky Lynch number 3. And like I said, in terms of creating a list, there's going to be some biases. There's going to be some, I feel like this person did this because, during the era, during the, the generation she fought, she never really had the opportunities to accomplish all the stuff that Becky could have accomplished. So I got Becky Lynch sitting at number 3, a 5-time Women's World Champion, a 2-time Raw Women's Champion, a Tag Team Champion, NXT Champion, Royal Rumble winner back in 2019. I bet I would, she would be a shoo-in for a Women's Money in the Bank winner this year. It would be, and she would represent it well. It'd be pretty awesome to watch. At number 2, I have Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair, 1,010% Raw. She's been a WWE Raw Women's Champion 6 times. A WWE Women's SmackDown Champion 7 times. She's been a Divas Champion, Tag Team Champion, 2-time NXT Champion, Royal Rumble winner, the first ever 2-time winner in women's history, and in 2020 and recently in this year, 2025. And Charlotte Flair, much like all the other girls I was talking about that are still kicking, looks to be racking up some more accolades here. So I can't wait to see what Charlotte holds in favor. She would definitely be a favorite to win the Women's Money in the Bank if she doesn't, dethrone Tiffany Stratton for that WWE Women's Championship. And at last, number 1, I have Trish Stratus. I have Trish Stratus, guys. 7-time WWE Women's Champion. She's a hardcore champion, 2013 Hall of Famer, and she's back, and she's in absolute great shape. I feel like she has a WWE Women's United States Championship run in her. I can see her, winning a tag team championships with somebody. But, I definitely, you got to love and respect Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus literally, she did it all. The pre-women's evolution, with her, Lita, Victoria, Mickie James, all these girls that literally gave everything to turn the perception of the WWE universe, to show WWE creative and the bosses and officials, along with the training of Fit Finlay, that we are more than just a pretty face. We are more than just bra and panty matches. We are more than just mud wrestling, this and that and the other, pillow fights, fulfill my fantasy, Playboy, all that other, stupid crap. They were more than that. They were very talented, very athletic. Ultimately, they didn't get a lot of television time, so whenever they did, they're like, okay, let's make this badass. Give me like an elbow or moonsault. Let's hit a superplex, which was highly unknown in terms of women's wrestling. Was anything from the top rope or basically anything different than different than a hair pull or a scratch or just something bogus like that. And Trish Stratus, like I was kind of talking about when I was talking about Becky Lynch, there was no Women's Money in the Bank. There was no Women's Royal Rumble. There was no Women's World Tag Team Championships. There was no Women's Mid-Card titles. But if there were, she would definitely have won them. Her reigns would have towered over all these other women. And and like I said, in terms of list, you have your biases. And I grew up once when Trish Stratus was basically, on top of the world, 110% Stratusfaction. Gotta be brutally honest. I used to collect wrestling dolls. Used to play with them. Had no interest whatsoever of buying any girl doll there was on the shelf. Besides Trish Stratus's. I would have the Trish Stratus doll, fight my Triple H doll, fight my Edge doll and Shawn Michaels. And it was cool. She was badass. She was great. She was a huge generational. She was a generational talent in the women's division. That's basically, she was that bridge. For me, I feel like in the Attitude Era, Ivory, Jacqueline, Chyna, Miss Kitty, you would have those, those weird, women matches that were highly exploiting and, super bad. And then as of what the women have become now, you had to kind of have that bridge to consistently poke WWE officials, to consistently change the perception of WWE fans. And she was that bridge. Trish Stratus was that bridge alongside, like I said, with Lita, alongside with Victoria, Mickie James. And, you would, down the line, you would get, some other women as well. WWE Hall of Famer Tori Wilson, Stacy Keibler. They're all great. They're all cool. But none were as impressive. And WWE didn't have the confidence to put the title, and anybody that they didn't think could usher them into a new women's evolution, besides Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus was the one. She was the golden goose. She was chosen, and you've seen her when she joined. When she was the manager for Test and Albert, TNA, all that stuff. She had to pay her dues. She was Vince McMahon's assistant. It was crazy. Even during the Vince McMahon not parody. Damn it! During the documentary, Mr. McMahon on Netflix. I'm not saying that what she was saying was probably a lie, because I feel like maybe back in that time, maybe Vince allegations, maybe he did kind of push Trish in a way, or kind of make her wanted to do this, or manipulate her in some way. And then maybe later on down the line, they squashed it and they eventually became professional friends, and she didn't bury him. She didn't bury him, where I can imagine a lot of women's talent would, but I guess that's Trish. Trish, she knew how to play it, how to, at that point, back then, she knew how to stroke the ego to get what you want. To kind of play by the rules to eventually become the best. And she definitely 1,010% put up with a lot of BS, a lot of patience. This Canadian professional wrestler that is, Hall of Famer. And in my opinion, I have Trish Stratus number 1 on my list, is strictly because, successful, all the accolades, what she would have done in contemporary WWE. Imagine her in her prime right now. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty badass to watch. But, I was lucky enough to watch it when it happened. So, Trish Stratus number 1 on my list. If you hate it, you love it, let me know in the comments section. I know Sports Illustrated deemed Becky Lynch number 1. And like I said, I'm not hating on Becky, and I didn't create this list to spite any people who believe that Becky is the number 1 women's wrestler of all time. It's always kind of fun and, kind of interesting to, kind of do a little bit of research and be like, huh. But then again, I got to be honest, even if I didn't do research, I got to admit, Trish Stratus is going to be number 1. Maybe that was in my brain the whole time. I was like, Trish Stratus number 1, sorry. Oh, no. Sasha Banks, no, sorry, Trish Stratus number 1. That biases, that list biases that every journalist, suffer in terms of making lists or whatever. So, all in all, hope you like my list. I'll give you a quick rundown, Trish Stratus number 1, number 2, Trish Stratus I'm just kidding, no, moving on. Well, thank you guys for, tuning into my episode. Hope you guys had a great time as much as I did. Definitely, I love hearing a lot of feedback from you guys. Remember to follow us on Twitter /X, however you guys like to call it, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for more content and updates. Remember to follow and subscribe to all the other amazing podcasts that the GSMC Sports Podcast and the Sports Network ultimately produce here on YouTube. You have all these amazing, passionate, enthusiastic, charismatic podcasters who have one goal in mind: to make sure you guys consume all the amazing sports content that you love so damn much. And guess what? It's absolutely free. So remember to like and subscribe. Stay beautiful. Hope you guys have a great, fun, amazing weekend with you and your family. Create some memories out there. Life is short. Hold on to your loved ones. Squeeze them, and call your mother. Call your dad. I'm just kidding. No. Anyway, stay beautiful, but most importantly, love you.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go.